up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Hello and welcome, family, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms, in your own narrative. That is absolutely critical and crucial, family. Absolutely. I really want to give a special shout out to our Patreon family. Thank you so much for enabling us to continue to bring the Wake Up Africa news to our people and make this show a priority. Thanks to everyone that subscribes, that likes, and to everyone that has joined the Unity communities. The numbers are growing. Please only send me one email, family, because I think I even need to create, like, the response has been so beautiful. I even need to create like something on my website where people can just go and fill out their numbers instead of me trying to do it manually, etc., etc. Unity communities is basically just conscious communities that we're building, because that seems to be the greatest need for so many of us, is to just have people of like mind that we can connect with once a month, once every so often, and just have these kind of conversations in our own words, and just just talk about what the awakening, because we can be really isolated. We're the few in a land of many, many sleeping sheep, family. So if you're interested, there'll be a clip at the end of this video that will tell you how to join, or you can email me. Just put Unity Communities and the city you're in, and we'll do that. But so far, from Jamaica to Rwanda to Ghana to Nigeria to Bermuda to Suriname, to Costa Rica, so many people have reached out, and we really are excited to see where the spirit takes us on this. Family, so there's so much contention when it comes to whenever I talk about forgiveness, people get really emotional, and I totally get it, because you see, for so long we've been indoctrinated to believe that forgiveness is about turning the other cheek, and turning the other cheek is the reason that we are in this situation that we find ourselves in. We have been convinced by the system, and I think this is part of the spell over our people, not to retaliate, not even to defend ourselves, family, and not to defend what is rightfully ours. Like, we've been totally disarmed, and the disarming has happened here, so that, like, physically we're paralyzed to do anything, because mentally we don't support those physical actions, either because we have a white god syndrome, or we have a mashed up idea of sin and hell and heaven, and just all this stuff keeps us from totally acting the way we should be acting in this world, because we were never a turn the other cheek kind of people. We were a Ma'at people, a people of justice, a people of what goes around comes around. We believed in the universe. We didn't believe in fairy tales, family. There are natural laws of the universe that we learned by studying nature. Not even just studying. We didn't just sit there and look at trees. We communed with the tree because the tree would communicate with us. And that was our school. And we learned so many things about the universal laws. And then a lot of things are just inbuilt in us because we're great ones. So the turn the other cheek, that thing is a big fat lie, family. And it's the reason why so many of us, our enemies, have continued for so long to defeat us. Because that was a subconscious programming. Oh, one day it will happen for us. Oh, one day justice will come. And what we didn't realize is we were always keeping our future in that one day, and never recognizing or even moving into, I gotta fight for that future right now. And for me, I don't see forgiveness as turn the other cheek. I see forgiveness as a resolution in me so that I can move on, a resolution in that narrative. You see, the thing is, they try and make you think forgiveness and I'm sorry are the same thing. They're two totally different things, family. Sorry is just a word, it's just an empty word. Rhymes with sore. You know how Babylon plays so many spells with their words? For me, it doesn't have the power. Forgiveness is, I have to understand why you sent me a death spell. Otherwise, that will haunt me forever. So when I actually go into your story and see that this and this and this happened, it doesn't make it right, but it makes it all right inside of me. And I'm able to move on. I'm able to put that story to peace and not allow it to be baggage on my back, baggage in my body as a living painful memory. Forgiveness means you kill that thing. You end it. But our idea of forgiveness has become so warped because of the reality we're in. But how you see forgiveness in your own life will determine how much you're able to leave behind and close out. And there are people in my family, I was gonna say, you know, well, among my friends, but mainly in my family, that I feel like I could never, if we're talking about the way the world describes forgiveness, I could never. They don't deserve forgiveness. Our ancestors didn't believe in forgiveness. It was a tooth for a tooth and an eye for an eye. If we see forgiveness as turn the other cheek, which is how it's being preached and how the narrative around forgiveness is being written right now, and they take your God, Jesus, and make him the authority over this. And you still have preacher men out there preaching. It's crazy. On a side note, I was just thinking the black preachers are some of the most wicked instruments of the devil, man. Because they're the ones that keep this narrative going over and over and over. And now they're benefiting from it so much. I'm sure some of them must know the truth by now, if not the majority. They must know it's a lie. So the fact that they bind people in these lies and keep a straight face every Sunday, that's just the most wicked thing ever, man. Anyway, those are stories for other days. So maybe the word we should, because forgiveness right now has become so polluted and contaminated and distorted, I'll put it another way. Whatever pain has been caused in your life, whatever injustice has been done to you, understand why that injustice happened. Just understand. It doesn't make it right, it doesn't make it wrong. But seek, because you want to put that to rest. A lot of us have too many of these living, painful stories, these living memories, that because we have not forgiven or because we've not understood why they happened, let me put it like that. Because we've not understood why they happened, it's like those things are perpetually happening over and over again. Because when you remember a memory, you're literally reliving it, like for your mind, that's happening to you again. It's like when the Twin Towers fell and they kept showing those images on the screen of like the planes hitting the towers and then the demolition. The psychologists showed that the children up to like 8, 9, 10 years old were unable to comprehend that they were repeating the news or they were repeating what had happened. So they kept thinking that every time they saw it, the World Trade Center was being hit again and again and again. That's how our memory works. That's how our mind works. And so they were severely traumatized by that. But that's how the mind and the brain works. So if you really want to make peace with your past, it's not about forgiveness, then, the way forgiveness is described, but it's about killing that memory, burying that memory, putting that memory to rest, closing out that memory. And for us who have been through it and we're in that awakening where all the truth of everything that has been done to us is kind of bubbling to the surface, we have to deal with the stories and narratives we already know. And you may be led to do many different things, like even rewrite the story, rewrite the conclusion of that. This word forgiveness is so corrupted. That's what I was just thinking. Because it stops us from healing. I mean, I'm even trying to think of what word would we use to describe that process that you need to put to. Like, understand why that happened, whether it was because of a past life situation, whether it was karma, whether they were trying to steal your energy. Like, go deep into that, meditate on that. And then once you know why it happens, there's a certain release that happens, and put that to rest. And that's basically the way I see the uncorrupted version of forgiveness. It's like a resolution. Okay, I was abused as a child because they knew I was a chosen one and they were trying to take my energy. Then you can even get into the nitty gritties of why that happened. It was my aunt, it was my this, it was my uncle, it was my mother, it was my father. You can get into the nitty gritties and you can actually, the spirit, your guardian angels will show you exactly what happened to you. And just with you knowing, a lot happens behind the scenes. You don't have to hold that energy in this life. It's to just put that to rest and free up that space, because all these things are like living things around us, infesting us, that we need to just release. That's why we work on these things. This is part of cleansing yourself, because they attach to us like layers, like like battle wounds. So once you understand the motive, the reason why certain things happened, you can rise above and beyond them by closing that out. It doesn't mean you have to ever see that person again. Doesn't mean you ever have to talk to that person again. None of that. But you need to have that understanding so that you can free that up from your living memory and put it where it belongs, in the past. Because a lot of our wounds, as I said, are living. We haven't closed them out. They're mental wounds. We haven't closed them out. And we close them out by this act of sitting and understanding, understanding and understanding. What word would you use for that, family? If forgiveness is so, because forgiveness really literally is having a compassionate understanding of why something happened. So if you don't want to use forgiveness, what word would you use for reaching, having that compassionate understanding of why something happened, so you're able to close it out? It no longer haunts you. It's no longer defines you. It's part of, especially now that we're closing out that book of life. These are the things that are trying to follow us into our new story, that are trying to cling to us like leeches, literally. Because, it takes a lot to keep these living memories alive in our psyche, in our spirit, in our body. We have to constantly feed them. That's why some of us are fat and that's why some of us are thin. That's why some of us yo-yo between happiness and sadness. Why we feel like our good things come in waves because we have too many of these living memories around us. So whether you want to call it forgiveness, whatever you want to call it, reconcile what happened, family, so that you can close out these living memories and you can move on. And the way you'll know you're healed is the day you hear a story similar to yours and it doesn't trigger any emotion. You don't feel like crying over it. You don't go, it doesn't dip your vibe at all. It doesn't make you feel sad. It doesn't. That's the day you'll know that you've graduated. Tuko pamoja. Looking for a conscious community or for people, who are on their awakening journey, on their transition to an off-grid living in your country, well, we have the solution, family. We're calling it Unity Communities. We get so many emails every week from people who ask if I know of people in their region or people in their city or people in their town who are on a similar kind of journey, who have broken away or are breaking away from the religious psychosis, and they're looking for just people who think the same way in their town, in their city. But more importantly, to give us a community where we feel understood, understood, overstood, where we can bond with people of like mind. And if you feel called to be part of this, definitely email me at drmumbi at drmumbishow.com. Please put your country in the subject line with Unity Communities. Get in touch with me, drmumbi at drmumbishow.com. Unity Communities.